We have over actually 6,000 advertisers a month who use our data. Facebook, TikTok, Trade Desk, Google.
Do you believe there's 3-letter agencies listening to us and monitoring data like yours for surveillance purposes?
Yeah, they use the location data of your phone. They've got cameras at every corner, and they've got cell phone data where they can narrow down 2,000 people that were in this block where the crime occurred.
You think with AI, eventually we're going to have a minority report where they're predicting who's going to be the crook?
Yeah.
Skydeo collects and analyzes literally trillions of pieces of data.
Yep.
Has like NSA or the CIA ever approached you to like say, give me some of that?
Yeah.
Why does the government claim that TikTok is a national security risk?
The politicians realize what a tool it is in swaying an election. So they have all the logins to all of our databases.
Is there any reason people should fear data collection?
I think it's...
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you, especially if you're into marketing, driving opportunities to do business, and growing your business. My man Mike Ford's in the house. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Brad. Thanks for having me.
If you guys don't know Mike, you can find him on Instagram, Mike_timespace, TikTok's at Mike.Ford, and LinkedIn Mike Ford, just like it sounds. You related to the Fords, perhaps?
No.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice, though?
Ford Field. That was my backyard playing two-hand touch. They named it after me, I thought, but...
Wasn't?
No.
Oh, Henry. Mike is the founder and CEO of Skydeo, which provides mobile audiences, insights, and measurement to brands and agencies and ad platforms, which is essential to targeting correctly.
Yep.
Now, you're dealing with huge companies with huge ad spends because you literally save them money because of your data company. Now, 10 years ago, it didn't exist. What were you doing before it existed?
What was I doing before the audience targeting or
before
different
Skydeo?
Experience? Oh, yeah. So my background, this is my third company I've started, all kind of tech or internet based. I started computer.com out of my garage with a partner. And that was a computer portal site that we launched at the Super Bowl with a Super Bowl ad that we starred in. And through some luck and some skill, we became the most watched commercial in TV history. I also led sales when search came out for a search agency to maximize Google spend. And then I started a social network before Facebook came out and, ran that for several years before.
Did it work?
Yeah, it was working great. And then 2008 came and I was trying to fund it myself. And I've made all the mistakes entrepreneurs make. So
where were you before you were an entrepreneur?
I started in tech sales. So I sold like computer systems to lumber yards and home centers. When Home Depot came around, I gave them tech. I brought low tech to the no tech is kind of what I used to say back then. And then I got into high tech sales. And when the internet came out, I jumped right on that in the .coms. So
you were already savvy. You knew shit was going on.
I think so. I had a unique perspective in the market. I was in Boston at the time. I got exposed to some cool people, in that community, some great mentors that helped me. Jeff Taylor from monster.com. I met him at a business school event. He was speaking and I just walked down and talked to him and he gave us basically the Super Bowl playbook and it probably fundamentally changed my career at that point. So.
What's the Super Bowl playbook?
Well, there's the ad itself, and he won awards with his When I Grow Up ads, and we won some best spot awards from Ad Age and stuff for ours.
Who thought of it?
The ad itself?
The creative, yeah.
It was a ad agency called Merkley Newman Hardy at the time. I think it's just Merkley now. And they had showed us like 4 or 5 ideas, and my partner goes, where's the one with us in it? And so they had that waiting. And
what was the commercial?
That one, it was kind of like a Woody Allen documentary, kind of, kitschy. It was like, 2 guys in a garage holding up a sign and, their relatives talking about, where's their .com. And, it was just like the story about what we were doing was the commercial versus, the story about what we were doing was bigger than what we were doing. And so that's what they featured.
So what, like computer.com is, you would think, well, we bought the website. This must have been 100 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
But how did
the
computer.com exist?
So a hobbyist had registered it and he knew it was valuable and he had, put in the $20 and so he had it and we met with him. He was getting offers for millions of dollars for the domain name, but I was in business school at the time and said, hey, we'll make you a founder, and which is, he wanted to be part of the company. And so we gave him 20% of the company and a promise of $500,000. I gave him $10,000 on my credit card as a down payment, good faith down payment. And, a guy named Kevin Sinclair, and he took it, and we were off to the races after that. We also had 1-800-computer, the phone number, which was pretty valuable too.
Well, I mean, I remember when the internet first came out, there was the ability to buy a domain for nothing, really.
Yeah.
Not much. And I had the idea of we should just go buy like Ford.com or Chevy.com or Cars.com. And I didn't have the money, even though it was cheap, to go buy all the ones I was talking about.
Right.
So I basically didn't buy any because, really didn't have the money. But I had the idea that I could go buy all these. So theoretically, had I been a little more, safe with my money and I had some, I might have owned computer.com by the time you got around. Because I thought of it before there was even such a thing as cyber squatting.
Right. Right. And that's what a lot of people did. They were like, I'm going to be Hershey's. And
but I thought
they wanted to sell chocolate. Right. And that's a trademark infringement. You can't do that.
Well, not anymore, but you could in the original.
Yeah, you could do it to an extent.
When I started looking, because you know how you could search up if it was available?
Yeah, of course.
Milk.com was available.
Okay.
Everything was available.
Yeah.
Madonna. I was doing stars names. I was doing cars names. I was doing big brand names. They were all available.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah. I registered all my friends' names.
I would
own bradlee.com. I still own a bunch of them. And
how many do you own?
300, 400 still.
Yeah. I just checked in mine today. I got 2 accounts somehow, but the one main account that I've always used, it's got like 241.
Oh, that's a good amount.
Yeah. Because I see it as digital real estate.
It is, yeah. One of my partners' companies is called the internetrealestate.com. That was their like holding company for these domains.
Yeah.
So we focused on the category names that weren't infringing. And if you own the category, then you had leverage on all the brands underneath it. And so like HP and Dell and Compaq, all these companies were like, these 2 idiots own computer.com. And so, but we were getting invited to all the big tech conferences and spoke at Inc. Magazine, CEO conference.
Just because you owned the .com?
Well, we owned the .com, and we also, took over the .com Super Bowl. Like people were spending millions of dollars, and we were 2 guys in a garage.
So how did you
the cheap
afford
spot
a Super Bowl commercial?
So we had some great investors that we basically pitched the idea that the domain was real estate and we were going to build something, great there. And it was a great site. It was, learn, buy, and get support. And we raised $7 million, based on the story that we were going to buy a Super Bowl ad. A lot of people thought we raised the money and then decided to buy the Super Bowl ad, which would be kind of a misuse of funds. But, we had some swashbuckling investors that took the ride with us. So
how much did the Super Bowl commercial cost?
By today's standard is like half. It was like 2.7 million for the media, which was a couple pre-games and the 2-minute warning, which was the cheapest spot we could get. And then I think it cost us like $400,000 to make the ad. So I actually sent the wire transfer from the Bellagio in my bathing suit. We were here for CES or something. So
was all the money in the account?
Yeah.
So you raised $7 million and only spent 2.7. What'd you do with the other 4?
We hired a bunch of people. We had a bunch of tech. One of the things that was hard then was to keep the site up and running during the Super Bowl. And so,
because everyone was hitting it.
Yeah. And you had to have, there's no cloud services back then. You had to like own all your servers. You had to have, load balancing and all this stuff. And so we had a guy from Amazon engineering come on board, and we overbuilt it. Like we built it like we were going to have that traffic forever. So that, that was another business school case study, like what not to do, but we could have rented stuff or borrowed stuff for the day, but a lot of companies crashed. MicroStrategy, like they're still around as the Bitcoin company, but they bought a Super Bowl ad that same year. They crashed. I think 10 of the companies crashed, but we didn't. So we were fortunate.
Do you think a Super Bowl commercial is a good move for any business?
Well, I don't think it's for any business. My experience with it is do the Super Bowl of your industry, like do the biggest thing and make a splash at it, early and often. And so for consumer internet companies, it is the Super Bowl. For Pepsi, I guess, it's Pepsi or Coke, right? Do you have to do it every year and spend 10 million? I don't know, but,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah. When they're spending 100 million, 200 million a year, like it's a rounding error for them to do it. For a company that's, never advertised before, you could do, there's so many other things you could do now, especially with social and with search and with AI. I think AI is the next frontier of like, how do you get AI to recommend your products? Because the Google click-through is going away, right? So people who are buying all these clicks from Google, like they're not showing the websites anymore. There's not even click-through. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of AI?
Yeah. If you go do a search, it's like AI first. You get your answer without having to click on anybody's website. So,
but it still would bring up the website, wouldn't it?
You really got to like want to go to the website. Like just think of all the publishers out there.
Yeah, but then if you go to ChatGPT and ask a question and then it answers you, then you go to the internet and Google it anyway to get to the website.
Yeah, or you just start with a Google search and it says, "Hey, here's everything you need to know about this movie." Or like, okay, let's say I looked up a movie the other day. Like, who's this actress? Normally, it would take me to IMDb because they had all the actresses, right? But they just told me like all the movies she was in, right? Or Wikipedia might have got the link, but it was just.
Do you think Google's feeling that?
Google's doing it. Like they're still getting the search. There's still ads around it, right? Google's showing the AI first and then the links. So, and
folks, if you guys are like, wondering how does this guy know all this shit? Well, I would say old Mike Ford's the king of data, right? Skydeo is the largest data provider in the country, right?
Yeah, we're one of the biggest. Yeah.
So you have data coming out your bunghole.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of it.
And big companies are buying your data. They're not even buying your data, really. You give it to them.
Yeah.
So pay attention, folks, because again, here's what it boils down to. You want to grow and scale your business, you're going to need more opportunities to do business. You're going to need to be known more. You're going to need to be able to target better. You're going to have to know all that. So Mike's company, Skydeo, basically will give you billions of pieces of data. How much do you give per person? Like, because you have billions of pieces.
Well, it's broken down into segments or audiences. And so what you're talking about is true. We work with the top Fortune 1000 advertisers. We have over actually 6,000 advertisers a month who use our data, either in Facebook, TikTok, Trade Desk, Google, StackAdapt. Those are some of the big partners. Yahoo, another big partner. And so it's really an advanced advertising technique to help you maximize your advertising or get better results by targeting the right people. And so it's not we're not giving everybody all the data. And it's kind of like when I asked you, who are you selling to? Like, we want to know which product you're offering or service, who are those buyers? And then we likely have those buyers in our lists. And so I can give you, the people who own a BMW, the people who, drink Saratoga water instead of Perrier, right? All those different slices of data, make it more targetable and get better results. And then on the other side, it's not just the big consumer companies. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was we're using these huge advanced techniques with the biggest spenders in advertising, but We also have the B2B data for guys who just want to target the CFO of a software company, or, target everybody in my town, or, things like that, they're a regional car dealer, or we're working with a real estate broker in the Hamptons, right? They just want to target people in 5 towns out there who are selling $20 million houses, right? And it's kind of a unique audience.
So they take that data from you, feed it into the platform they like to advertise on, and it goes and finds them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so if a piece of your data said Brad Lee, someone would take it and then I would see their ad.
Yes. Ferrari owners.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, you see it already. Like when you see the targeted ads, there's a reason that, people are targeting you. Either you went to their website. That's the most common one, called retargeting. But we call it, Skydeo is kind of like pre-targeting. Like you didn't come to my website first and then get retargeted, but like we knew who you were and what products you liked or had an affinity towards. And so it would make sense that you would convert, right?
But how do you know what I like?
We call it deterministic data, right? And so, I don't think you're going to the grocery store too often, but maybe your wife does. And so would your data show that? Yes. Yeah. And so I know you like Oreos, not Fig Newtons, right? Or whatever the case is. And so I would only show you chocolate cake ads instead of, I don't know, fruit ads. Right. And so if you've got a sports car like a Ferrari, you're likely to buy a Defender or a G-Wagon because you need something else to like move the dog and the kids around, right? And so those are kind of affinities that we see in the data on the insight side that we can tailor the targeting to.
Do you have some AI engine that's going through all of these millions and billions of bits of data? Because when you say we see it, like there's no one looking at all these data points, is there?
Well, it starts off with a query. Like if you want, you just tell us what you want. And it's like, okay, I want soccer moms 30 to 55 who live in affluent suburbs. We just type that in and it's a query. We don't need AI for that. What AI helps you do is just say, give me soccer moms in the suburbs. And like AI figures it out and makes the query for you. So it makes it faster for us. But the promise of AI is just, a lot of people are trying to use AI to not have audiences. But, when you have the data, it's just so much easier to target those people directly in Facebook or Google or wherever.
So if I'm a big marketing guy out there spending $1 million a month on ads,
yep.
Why would I want to take your data and suck it into my process?
Simply return on ad spend, right? So our fees are just a percentage of what you spend, right? And so if you're spending $1 million, we might charge you $100,000 a month for better data to target with. And you could spend $750 instead, or you could get, $7 million in sales instead of $1.2 million. So
is it that big of a difference?
It depends on the product and the data set. But typically what we do is we just fine tune the data set that it performs for you, or customers don't use the data. So our churn rate's very low because you don't have to stick with one segment all the time. You can switch and, like back to school segments are very hot right now. Mother's Day was hot in, April. Right. And so it's seasonal. You may want to target your competitors, or you may want to target Grant, Cardone fans, right? Because you have a deal there and it might perform better for you. So it just depends on, the audience and the need, but
so could you query Grant Cardone fans and there would be a list of people?
Yes.
What about Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, I love Gary. Just saw him.
What about Brad Lee?
So some of those things it's like a couple hops, right? And so we find, people who like, improvement podcasts. So they might be categorized. Like we might not have your name per se, but in a lot of cases we do. We have something called fan segments.
How do you know? Because to me, like you've reached a certain level of celebrity. If like when you go to target people on Facebook and Facebook has your damn name,
right?
That means like, damn, enough people were typing in this name that they thought they'd make it a category.
Yeah. And you also gave them your data. that they could make that segment. So they had, you've got a little Facebook pixel on your website, right? That's recording your conversions if you advertised on it. And so they already have all your customer data. I don't know. Not a lot of people know. So Facebook so I started a social network to compete with Facebook in 2006 before they were public, because I was an old dude and I wasn't in college. Right. So
how'd it work out?
That was my first billion I skipped on, but,
how many businesses have you started and closed without making any money?
Well, been involved with or started myself. So I started 2, and, I made some money, but, I'm still working. Right. Both ran out of money. Like, so I was in business school and I was taking finance for startups, and I dropped out to start computer.com, and then we ran out of money. So I always say if I had stayed in that class, we would have been done better. But, I've had some wins. Quigo, I was head of biz dev there, and we sold that. Yeah. It was a contextual ad network that sold to AOL for like 300 million. And I was an employee there, but, there's a bunch of kind of sideways successes, but definitely ran out of money a bunch of times. It's not fun.
Your first startup, computer.com, began in your garage.
Yep.
And then you just went to a few buddies. I mean, like, I don't understand how you went from I'm in the garage, which means no money.
Correct.
To, hey, I just called a few of my investor buddies and raised $7 million.
Right. So
like, then how are you connected with them? Because when I was in my garage, I didn't have investor buddies with 7 million.
Well, at the time, it was like a pep rally for internet companies and venture capitalists, especially in Boston and like San Francisco. And so the day we announced that we bought the domain name, we were on the cover of this, San Jose Mercury News, right? And Red Herring magazine and all like the tech magazines at the time. So we got a lot of publicity for being these 2 idiots who spent $500,000 on a domain name.
Yeah, but you didn't. You got it for 10 G's.
Nobody knew that though. We said we bought
it for
but
like
500
every move you made.
No, it was a contract for 500 grand. If we didn't pay the
killer
kid.
deals though.
Yeah, you got to buy smart, right? And so
yeah, but I mean, most people would never even have thought to try. Well, you said, hey, I'll give you a piece.
I was unemployed at the time too. Like I just had to get I knew it was a locomotive I had to get in front of, and
But you said, I'll give you a piece, which turned him on. I'll give you 10 grand basically. And then we'll give you 500 as soon as this big thing hits.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. Did you shit when he said, okay?
No, but I didn't know about the 10 grand good faith payment until my partner told me. And like, I didn't have it in the bank, and I was like, okay. And like, your credit card used to give you those little paper checks, and that's what it was. We wrote it to him in mail. We sent it in the mail. So it was funny.
Well, when I started this company, Lightspeed, I had to find a guy that could build it for me.
Yep.
So I ran into the guy who is now, part owner, because I had to do the same thing.
Yep. Well, it was
I had no money, so I talked him into building it for me. And as soon as it was built, we'd be millionaires together. So I kind of just closed him on building me the software. If I had to have the money, I never would have got it.
Oh yeah. That's the same thing that happened to us with Skydeo. So I went around trying to raise money for Skydeo, and like every venture capitalist was like, great idea, but it's hard to get the data. And then once we got the data, it was like, great idea, but it's hard to get the advertisers. And they were right. It was super hard. And we flopped.
How'd you do it?
Well, so when we started, we had built the tech, and I had some tech co-founders that helped me out. Shout out to Fabio and the boys. They're in Brazil now. But so we built this tech that would allow us to work with game companies or people who had high volume apps, and we would put our tech in there. And if people opted in, we would be able to see like where their phone went and, what other apps they had on their phone. So, and
did they have to give permission for that?
Yeah. Yeah. So we had to build a consent management system. So it's like, for, 50 coins in the game, if you click yes, you get, we're going to take your data. 95% of people just click yes and like accepted the terms and conditions and didn't care.
Because nobody's really listening.
They just want to play the game.
Nobody's reading that shit.
No, they just want to play the game.
You think click agreements are enforceable?
I don't have an opinion on that, but Like what? When you agree to the terms and conditions?
Because I click the shit out of click agreements and I never read them. I could be literally signing my house over and don't even know it.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't afford lawyers, so I just copied Facebook and TikTok's like terms of service and agreements, and they all use different language. It was called software inventory lists or, app lists and things like that back in the day. And this is going back 10 years. But so we started with the tech, but we had to get the games to work with us in exchange for, revenue share later. Right. And so we're like, literally 3 guys in my house this time. And we got some success going to global companies who had US users. And then we got to the mid-tier and they all wanted like bounties because the ad companies were paying them to put their technology in. And I was like, this is horrible. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so I went to the top 10 companies in the world and I showed them what we were doing. I showed them the tech and I was like, I can't afford to pay you this and you're not going to make any money for like 6 months or a year, but I'll give you a piece of the company. And so we got board approval at 3 companies. And then one of the CEOs says, yeah, we'll do it. And I'll invest personally. And that's a guy named Skydeo, who we say we named the company after, but we were already Skydeo. And he's Fruit Ninja. He made Fruit Ninja.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Half brick out of Australia. And so, he funded our account. I think I cried that day. I don't know if I told him that, but
how much did he send over?
That's another interesting story. So, but it was a couple $100,000 just to get us going.
So you're a closer, basically. You keep closing people is how you did it. I'm trying to get the listeners, man, why does this guy have, come from nothing, struggle just like everybody else, but yet you keep hitting these home runs? Super Bowl commercial from a garage company. Nobody would have thought of that. You closed the closers, the investors, on ponying up some dough.
Yeah, well, you got to operate from a position of strength and value, right? And so in that case, like, even if we messed up, the domain name was going to be valuable, right? Even if I mess up Skydeo, the data is going to be valuable, right? And
how much is data worth? Like if I have 200,000 people that wanted a job, for example, like, hey, they just wanted a job. There's 200,000 people that wanted a job last week.
Yeah.
Is that worth something just because it's a category of people? What makes it more valuable data?
Well, I guess it's like what business you're in, right? Like, so if you have all those people who want a job or need a job, I don't know, Optavia has got this opportunity. You can go run around and like sell, food products to your friends and neighbors and build a little business. Right. So in that case, I don't know, but in terms of, in the old days, it would cost millions of dollars to acquire our data set, like $10 million for a brand or someone to buy it. It was just cost prohibitive, so they didn't do it. And then Facebook made it and Google made it, you could reach all these people at a low cost and only pay when someone clicked or did something, right? So that was a major economic change. And that's what we're doing with our data now is, we'll give you all the data that we have that we think is going to work for your campaign. And you just pay us based on what you spend. So it's like a utility bill. And it's like, the spike for Mike, as you would say. What was yours?
A tad for Brad.
The tad for Brad, yeah. So the spike for Mike is like 10% of what people spend on ads media. And so if you pay TikTok 10,000, then it's only 1,000 for Mike. But if it doesn't work, you don't have to spend it the next month. You can just cancel. There's no cost to cancel. There's no, so we avoid all that stuff. It's just use it for your campaign, run your campaign for the holiday. When it's over, it's over. We'll see it for the next campaign kind of thing. So
you give me some sort of cookie that'll tell you how much I'm spending?
That's all on your platform. So that's the other thing. We work with the platforms directly to, make it easy for advertisers to target the right people. So, Trade Desk, Yahoo, Google, Stack Adapt. Those are some of the bigger programmatic platforms. And then TikTok and Facebook are the social ones that work.
So would you consider yourself well off now?
Financially? I'm better than I was the first, so we struggled for 5 years. Like there were times like I came back from a business trip and the power company had turned the lights off to to our office, which was where I was living at this barn in Boston. And so we literally couldn't keep the lights on. And so, about 4 years ago, we kind of cracked the code and started doing what we're doing now, is like giving people the data and distributing it widely and not being so conservative with it. And, it made $1,000 the first month. And then the next month it made 2,000. And the CTO I was working with quit. He goes, this isn't going to work. And he left. And I was like, oh. And I hired some contractors to fill it in, but then it made 8 and then 16. And it basically doubled for 2 years. So we went from like 0 sales in 2020 to, over a large amount now, right? With only like 10 employees.
What kind of margin? It's got to be good because it's the same data, isn't it?
Well, so we acquire our data, right? So we have a data cost, we've got people costs, tech costs, all those things. So, but it's good margin.
Well, it has to be because you're selling the same data and you're not even selling data.
Well, we sell, so we still have to acquire it, clean it. Like it's a lot of work,
but if Jimmy Jones comes to you and says, hey, I'm looking for Dallas, or is it Jerry Jones, whoever owns the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I need the Cowboys fans. And you go, here they are. And then I come along and I'm like, I want to sell silver helmets. So give me the Cowboys fans. That's the same data.
Sure. Yeah.
So you didn't buy it twice.
No.
So you just keep reselling the same data over and over and over and over and over to different advertisers that want to find those people.
Right. But there's new data that comes out, like pickleball. There were no pickleball customers 3 years ago, right? So now everyone's got to buy pickleball stuff, right? So you have to go get that.
What do you think the latest and greatest trend is for a small to mid-sized business trying to grow? What kind of data should we be aware of?
It's really knowing, there's 2 things. So,
it's 4:00, Mike. I turned this freaking thing off.
Ding, 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 ding.
I guess airplane mode doesn't shut it off. No?
Oh, that was an alarm, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got do not disturb.
You gave me some time to think about this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was God interfering to give you some think time.
You want to ask again? Or?
Are you religious?
Spiritual.
Because I know you had a triple bypass.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Do you think that was stress from raising these companies up?
No, that was just a hereditary thing.
Hereditary?
Yeah.
Clogged arteries is hereditary?
Mm-hmm. What I had was, yeah.
So like,
yeah. So
just your gene says, fill up the arteries with calcium.
Yeah.
So there's people walking around right now that could have calcium and blockage and they don't even know it.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story. I started working out last year hard, like every day, like lifting, like high protein diet, all this stuff. Probably dropped 30 pounds and put on 10 pounds of muscle. And, felt great. Had some family history of heart issues and had a cardiologist, go in, do the test, and it was all fine. Then he says, I think when you do this triple rule out scan, and what they do is it's a CT scan, like an X-ray, and they look at your arteries and your carotid, and they just, your aorta, and they say, how much calcium do you have in there? And mine came back high. And I'm like, okay, well, now we got to do a new test. And I was like, I don't want to go in for this test. They want to do a stent or something, and they got to go through your artery. And, I'm busy. Like, I don't want to go to the doctor. But I threw my results into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT said, I'm in the 95th percentile. And I was like, winning. And they're like, no, you're losing. And so I go in and got the scan. And I was 100% blocked in one artery and 90% blocked in 2 others. And so they call it the widowmaker. Bill Burr's got a series out called The Drop Dead Years, and that's kind of what happens to guys that don't get it fixed. And so,
what were the symptoms in case someone has it and they don't even know? Was there any symptoms?
No symptoms. So you go to your regular doctor and he's like, your cholesterol is fine and your blood pressure is fine. And you just walk away. That's it. And you die.
Even though you could have 10% 90% blockage, wouldn't that mean you get no blood?
Yeah.
Did you have any issues? Erectile dysfunction, shortness of breath? Like what does no blood flow create?
It's a good question. So, I'm a single guy. So the first question is no, but so I guess if the blood moves around in like smaller capillaries or stuff, but my heart was pumping a lot harder than it needed to push the blood through. And so now that it's fixed, I'm either going to be a super genius or a porn star. I haven't decided what's going to happen yet. I'm still coming through the recovery, but
did you feel your heart working harder? Was there any physical signs?
No, because it happened gradually. I didn't. So the physical signs, if I try to run 3 miles, I would peg out at like 160 heart rate and like need to take a nap after, right? But I thought that was old age. But like I threw up 275 on my birthday, showing off for my daughter. I could do 225 for 10. Like I hadn't done that in years, right?
So by all intents and purposes, you were healthy.
Yeah.
When in reality, you were about ready to drop dead with the widowmaker.
Yeah, it was a clogged artery. And so I would advise everyone to go get the scan. And
What's the scan called?
It's called a triple rule out scan. It's a CT scan that they do.
And you need a doctor to send you for one of those?
Yeah, I think so. They have some of these scan clinics that might cover it, but I think they inject a little dye and do an x-ray. It's 15 minutes and it's probably $100-$200.
Did you get what?
If you don't have insurance, it's free if you have insurance, right? So,
did you get a second opinion?
No, I didn't, because I had a close friend who was the anesthesiologist who would recommend me, and well, I guess I did, because I did this down in Florida where I live in the winter, and I came back up here and they said the same thing, and fortunately I got great care at Barnabas in New Jersey. So good guys there.
Why'd you pick Barnabas?
My friends work there. And so he usually it's like 6 weeks or a month to get scheduled. He helped me get in quicker. He handpicked the nurses for me. The cardiologist didn't go play golf that day and came in. And so I got like VIP treatment. So that was great.
And you literally were split open.
Oh yeah.
Open heart surgery.
Yeah. I'll send you the picture, but they take a jigsaw, cut your heart. Everybody wants to see the scar. It's getting better now, but it's there. And then they cut out an artery here, out of my arm, one out of my leg, and then one out of your mammary artery, which is like your cleanest artery. And then they shut your heart off, and then it's pumping blood through a pump for like 4 hours while they fix your heart and like attach new hoses to your heart. So it's crazy. It's not for the faint of heart. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's crazy what they can do.
Yeah.
And then turn it back on.
Yeah. And it was like a little shock. Boom. And you wake up and
what'd it feel like?
Well, they give you fentanyl. So I was, out in seconds, and I woke up 12 hours later, and it
Did your chest hurt? Was it sore? Was it?
Yeah, well, the first couple of days I was meted up, but once I got, recovered, it's sore. If you sneeze, it's like the worst pain of your life. Had to sleep upright. Your arm is.
You were single?
Yeah.
So you had no girl taking care of you?
Well, no, I have a girlfriend now, but
then.
Yeah, so that was another story. So
because I wouldn't want to be single with an open heart surgery.
No, I have 3 daughters. They were there. They were awesome. My mom and sister came in, and so I had been dating this girl for about 6 weeks, and I found out about this, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I gotta get surgery. You didn't sign up for this. I'll see you in July when I'm better." And she wasn't having any of that. She's great. And so, shout out to Lauren. And, so she met my mom and the kids, and, they hung out in the hospital for the weekend while I was getting fixed. And, most of my recovery, I think, is due to her. Like I sped up my recovery and, just worked extra hard to get better.
Was anybody crying on the day of? Because doctors, whenever you go under, especially for that type of thing, they're like telling everybody, hey, he could theoretically not come off the table.
Well, yeah, they were crying. I heard some stories, and like when the guy came out, he was kind of like mopey. So, that scared them that he wasn't like, hey, he's all fixed. And so that,
why was he mopey?
I think it was just like being matter of fact, like things went well, I think that's.
See, doctors need to have a better like understanding of like psychology. Because if you walked out mopey, dude, my heart would sink. Like, oh my God, did he die?
Well, I mean, the guy just did
fine.
He just worked hard 4 hours of surgery. I don't know. I didn't see him. And
how do you know he walked out mopey then?
They tell you, the women in your life tell you exactly what happened and how. Right?
they said he came out mopey.
Well, he just wasn't like, hey, everything's great. And so they
scared him he scared them.
Yeah. Because
by the lack of energetic enthusiasm walking out of
No, but he was great to me. Like he was, but I don't know. That's the only thing.
Was he a top cardiac surgeon?
He's the man. Yeah. He's the top guy there. And
see, how do you just keep falling into all this good shit?
I think karma. Try and do as good I can for other people as often as I can. And, I'm lucky both ways. Like, I did have to have heart surgery, so I don't think that's very lucky. I just lucked out with the care. Right. So,
well, I mean, that's better than dying.
Of course.
So you didn't have to have heart surgery. You could have died.
That is true. And if I didn't have good insurance and like have a successful company, I couldn't have like afforded to get heart surgery.
What do you think would have happened if you couldn't afford it? They wouldn't have done it?
I don't know. I mean, like the preventative stuff, the scan, like if you didn't know to go ask and get it done, like if I didn't have, good care, I don't know. Like it happened. My dad dropped dead at 62, right? Like, I don't know if he knew about it. I don't know if he didn't.
From that?
Heart disease. Yeah. So, like you were talking about earlier, it's like, I was there one day, talked to him the night before and the next day he was dead. So
what would you tell all the people out there stressing, trying to grow their business? Because the entrepreneurs, a lot of them are under stress. They just don't realize it because it's been stressful for so long, they get used to it. So they don't realize that stress has an effect on your body, even if you're not acknowledging that you stress. Because like I don't stress.
How do you do that? And
what's there to stress about?
Interesting.
Like, I mean, I've been broke and it wasn't that bad. And worst case scenario, I go broke again, which means I get a clean slate to get to start all over. Now I can do it right from the get-go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it just doesn't stress. Now, of course, I don't want that to happen, but at the end of the day, if it did, not that big a deal.
It's amazing you mentioned this. So I just talked to somebody like last week, and I was like, they go, you've been in fight or flight mode for over a decade, right? And now I'm not, but I'm still operating the company as though I am. And
that's probably good practice.
I don't think it is, because
could be restricting your growth too.
Yeah. Like we have founderitis, no question. Like I can't be doing all the things I'm doing. All right.
Oh, you mean you don't want to hire enough people?
We grew so much without them, right? Well, like it's been proven not like I have success bias, I guess, to like not hire a bunch of people. And I see my competitors like, they've got huge executive teams, paying people $500,000 a year to like drink Starbucks and just do the same thing that, we're doing with 10 people. They have 1,000 people. And
you think it's just bloat? Can't be the same kind of revenue.
They're doing like 2 to 3x what we are without.
But with literally 100x.
They're not making money. They're breaking even, and they got private equity and they got debt and they got to sell. Like 2 of them just sold for, fraction of what they're worth, I think.
Well, sometimes, dude, that's the plan. Like when you start getting into private equity and looking at that, you're like, what? Like this company, I didn't know that we were valued on ARR and sometimes MRR, but ARR, not net, not EBITDA. It's like, what? You're telling me that if I had 100 million a year coming in, but I was losing $1 million, I'd be worth more than if I had $1 million coming in, netting 900,000. And the answer is, oh yeah. Did you know that?
I've heard it both ways, like EBITDA valuations and top line valuations, right?
Yeah, but did you know you could lose money and still have a valuable company?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos. He's pretty good.
Dude,
they didn't make money for years.
I know, but were you savvy? Did you get an MBA or did you just figure it out?
Well, I'm very lucky, very fortunate. Like I set out to like raise money and build a big company and, raise venture capital and all that. And like we raised like 600,000 from angel investors. And so
what's that process like?
It's like a full pitch and, you find, people who believe it. Like I tell people that the only people who invested were guys that were smarter than me and like knew the data was going to be valuable. And so it was like, we got the top guys at McKinsey and Accenture invested like on the business presentation. And maybe they like my gumption and I was going to go work hard to do it, but it was it was probably the data, right?
Well, of course it was. Those guys don't invest because they like your gumption.
Well, it helps. Like the team was a factor, but we didn't have a team at the time. So it was just the idea that it was going to be big.
I would bet you there's no a gumption's bonuses.
Is that even a word? I don't even know what gumption means. But,
sure. But nobody cares that you have gumption.
Sure.
Like, he had a shitty business plan. I didn't really believe it was going to work, but man, the kid had gumption.
Okay. Fair enough.
The kid was a fighter.
Fair enough. Well, I think resiliency, like we should have been dead 10 times. Like resiliency is a major factor. You got to be willing to basically die over and over again and then do whatever it takes to like get back up.
Well, we sound like we have similar things, dude. Cause I should have been out of business 1,000 times with Lightspeed. Yeah. I remember one time there was like 70 some thousand coming up in payroll and I didn't have it. And it didn't look good for me getting it. So I'm like, there's something that always happens. And every time anything like that happened, something happened that was good, that was covered. Right. So I said, I call it Lightspeed fate. I said, I'm just going to hope Lightspeed fate kicks in one more time. And, countdown, I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 days away, man. If I don't have the money in the bank, payroll's not going to cover for the only time and the first time in the history of the company of me nickel dicking it and dragging a dead horse. And dude, like 4 days or 5 days before, phone rings. Hello? It's someone from like a year ago or something. Yeah, you don't call me back? You got too much business? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you haven't followed up. I haven't heard from you. I told you to call me back or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. What's up? And he's like, yeah, we're ready to get going. And we need this, that, and the other thing. So I map it out and I was all of a sudden, that'll be $78,000, sir. Just miraculously.
That's amazing.
Do you think that similar stuff happened to you?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
maybe that's why we have similar views on things.
Well, you get humbled being an entrepreneur. Like everyone like, oh, CEO, ego, all that stuff. But like one, you serve a lot of other people, right? Partners, employees, customers. Like, you may not be able to get fired by somebody because of who you are and the way you have companies. But you don't work for yourself. Like you have constituents, right? That rely on you. Yeah, we lucked out along the way. COVID, I got an SBA loan. Like
they just throwing them around.
Yeah, but we didn't have employees. Nobody was getting paid. We were just like writing checks when we got money. Like me and my co-founders would split a check that came in, right? And if somebody had their wife wanted to go away, they'd get a bigger check that month, kind of thing, right? So, and then sometimes there was no check, right? So payroll, not making payroll is not the end of a company. It just makes the people there not happy.
Well, if I had my bombs down here in this makeshift studio, I'd have gave that a bomb, but it may have been for me. Because I think in my mind, if I can't pay people, damn, dude, that would just be terrible.
It would, but how long,
Well, what I would
you
do
find
is,
out how invested they are in
I was
the
about
company.
to say, what I'd do is I'd test their loyalty with it.
Yeah.
Because like, listen, if I'm down with a company for real and you couldn't pay me, dude, I need to get a job. I got a family to feed.
Right.
So if they stay after you can't pay them also, like, dude, now you got someone down for the cause.
Right. And that's like the, like when you think of co-founders and like consultants and fractional people, it's like consultants and fractional people, they're involved in your company, right? They're not committed really. It's kind of like, it's like the pig and the chicken at breakfast, you know, one's involved, the other's committed. You know that saying?
I've heard it.
Okay. Yeah. So chicken just lays an egg, pig is bacon. So,
Yeah.
so I think that all those things are a factor.
Well, you need to kick out the fucking bacon. That's probably why your arteries were clogged.
I can show you my results. I was fine.
So it was all hereditary. It wasn't how you ate.
Yeah.
You were fit.
Yeah. The latest thing is lipoproteins. Like they think that's a different factor that I test high for. And there's a drug coming out, I guess, in a year or two. But all you can do is really just like lower your cholesterol as much as possible.
See, again, there's studies now showing higher cholesterol is less likely you have a heart attack.
Well, it's the two different kinds. I don't know which one is which.
It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
I just don't know who to trust anymore.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT,
No, I'm just
it's
kidding.
too patronizing. You ever notice ChatGPT always like ask it a question and then question the question or question the answer. And guess what? It doesn't say, fuck you, bro. This is the answer.
You need you need a red state GPT.
It says, excellent observation. You may be correct. I will say, like, for example, hey, write me a plan for this, that, and the other thing, and make sure that it's as good as it can be. Ask me any questions. This is the trick that I think most people need to know, listeners. At the end of every chat session, ask it to ask you any questions it needs to do the best job. And it'll start asking you questions that will help it give you the best job, which I thought was awesome. So anyway, I always do that. So it asks me all the questions. I answer all the questions and I hit enter. And it always comes up with a good ass answer. It's like, damn, dude, this is freaking valuable. Like that's the best $20 I spend every month. ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So at the end of every answer, I go, is this the best it can be? And it always says, no, if you really want to make it badass, and I'd go, excellent. Is this as good as it can be? Well, it is pretty damn good. But I'll tell you what, if you really wanted to make it bulletproof, why wouldn't that just say that in the first place?
I saw a prompt today. Like you have to do 20 prompts to like make it tell you the truth. Because it makes stuff up if it doesn't fill a gap, and it like just faster to like.
Yeah. So like people,
it's like a gray area.
Yeah. So people are acting like ChatGPT is gospel when it is not.
Neither is
and
Google.
It has been wrong.
Yeah.
I've caught it wrong. And I've even said, hey, this isn't necessarily right. And they go, oh, excellent catch. You're right. My apologies. Now, had I just banked on that,
right,
dude, ChatGPT is not where it needs to be.
Well, these tools are still nascent. Like I think there's actually.
Did you say nascent?
Nascent. New.
Oh, I got to go look that up.
Is that too much? Oh, no, on ChatGPT.
I'm a word guy. I like the word.
Well,
nascent.
you build software. So there's I've been using this tool called builder.io, and with like 7 prompts built an app in 20 minutes. That would have taken, I don't know, 4 developers 2 weeks to build or something. So
it's called builder.io.
Yeah. You just go in there and like type in an app idea and like say, as a user, I want this, and like, it'll make any app you want. And like the layout, the code.
Legit?
Yeah. It's crazy. So
with code?
Yeah. And you push it to GitHub and, I don't know I can't like put it on a server, but you can hire anybody to do that.
For those wondering, nascent means just coming into existence and beginning to show signs of future potential. Excellent use of the word, sir.
I only pretend to be a tech guy. I'm actually an English major. So
are you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Did you go to college?
I went to college. Yep. Played football.
Where at?
Albany. and then Boston College.
What's that?
Then I went to Boston College, the Eagles.
What position did you play?
I was a linebacker in college.
So were you ever like, broke and struggling to where like, because you said you took mushrooms one time.
Oh yeah.
What was that story?
Well,
usually broke and struggling is part of most entrepreneur journeys. No?
I think so, but it's usually at the beginning.
Well, you said you were making 30 grand a year one time, dude. That's struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy.
But that's just what you were allowing yourself from the revenue to build it.
Well, that's all we had.
Yeah, but we've done that. Everyone's done that because it's your baby. You're building the company. Sometimes you go without a paycheck. One time
I'll tell the story if you want, because Elon and all these guys are talking about it, but I had been consulting for this company, and they went under. They ran out of money. I was going through divorce, worst time, like struggling to see my kids. She's fighting me. I had gotten, I'm out of the house with like a bag of clothes. So you lose your family, you lose your friends, you lose your house. You don't have any money. I lost my job around the same time. So I was literally making $3,000 a month on a consulting gig. And so during the summer, I was like camping to like preserve cash so I could, drive around and see my kids. So it was a stressful time, like the most high cortisol time you can imagine in life. And my good buddy Cappy has a party every year called Cappy Fest at his house, which is a mansion in Westport, Connecticut. Paid for by Yahoo. So he'll like that. Anyways, somebody brought mushrooms. I had never done them. And they go, oh, cap and a stem. And I like did that a couple times, but they were just sitting there like a bowl of nachos. And so after some drinks or something, I just took a handful, and the plant started talking to me, and it was weird. Right. And I didn't realize it, but I woke up. It was, I was tripping for a while, and then I woke up. And I started the company the next day. Like I was debating whether to do it. I remember the conversation. I'm on his back porch with two buddies, and I was just like, should I do this? I have no money. I got nothing. And so,
how old were you?
40, mid 40s, 47, something like that. I'm 37 on Tinder now, but, no, I'm not on Tinder, but, so started the company, and, I look back now and like, the mushrooms kind of rebooted my brain to open up and be able to take this kind of chance and do an opportunity. So I don't recommend it for everybody, but I think it helped me get out of the mode that I was in of like lawyers and stress and, and I just said, okay, how do I get out of this? And so, the drive for success is a motivating factor, especially after you get divorced. So
you took mushrooms, and the next day you just woke up, said, screw it, I'm starting Skydeo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why'd you name it Skydeo?
Well, I had started computer.com, and I had started Town Connect. And so they were very descriptive of what we did. And I learned a lot more about branding. And so Skydeo could be pretty much anything that you wanted it to be. And it was, as a domain guy, I had a list of domains that I could afford. And, a lot of people, because they can't register it, they don't think it's available, but there's millions of domains that you can buy for $100 or $1,000. You just got to go chase somebody down. And so we chased the guy down who owned it.
Skydeo?
Skydeo, yeah.
Boy, you were convinced why didn't you just change the name? Like, what the hell's Skydeo?
We were app audiences at first, which is kind of like what we were doing. It was like, okay. And that's really restrictive. That'll be gone in like 5 years or 2 years. So, Deo means God in many languages. And so Sky God seemed like a pretty cool name. And it's short, memorable. 6
it's not
letters.
even spelled the same.
What's that?
It's not even spelled the same.
What, Deo?
Deo. I thought it was Dio.
Yeah.
Like Vios con Dios.
Yeah.
Let's go with God.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the Latin version.
Oh.
I don't know. Just say it often. Skydeo, Skydeo, Skydeo. It's good.
How does Skydeo work for like small businesses?
Yeah. So for small businesses, we've got B2B data, which typically most companies are. If you think of software companies or financial services firms or, wealth management, they're looking to target affluent customers.
So like Lightspeed, let's use Lightspeed.
Yeah. So you're trying to provide software for training and a platform for training, people. I think that's a couple different audiences. You could have like the head of revenue, CROs, VPs of sales at companies. You could have HR people who are responsible for training.
Sales managers.
Yeah.
What if I just want entrepreneurs?
Yeah, that's a great one. Small business owners. We have, massive audience of those. Folks like, Intuit QuickBooks, they want to target those same people. So
when you say you give me the data, I don't have to pay you for the data. What if I take the data and then I don't tell you that I sold anything?
Yeah, I don't need to know your revenue. What we do is, we would push that data to your Facebook account. And then at the end of the month, you spent $1,000. Well, Brad, you owe me 100.
And if I didn't spend anything, I owe you nothing.
Yeah.
But all that data is now in my Facebook account.
Yeah, but you can't do anything with it. It's just sitting there. It's just a list.
I can't export it?
No, it's a Facebook custom audience. And even if you could, it's like a mobile ID. Like, what are you going to do with it? It's, I spent a long time like trying to protect the data and like not give it to people and like sell it first and get a check from you up front. And it's just, it's too much friction. And so, and it's too much risk for you as an entrepreneur.
It is what people need to pay attention to. Cause again, that's what set your company off. You were so protective and worried. And then you finally said, screw it. You can have it. Just pay me when you make some money with it. And everybody just freaking picked up.
The key to our success is being customer focused. One, being smarter than our competition, right? Having the right data set at the right price, at the right scale, and then being easier to work with, right? Like if you can do that, then, why wouldn't you want to be working with somebody?
Well, and I mean, data is good because like it is what it is. Here you go. Like, doesn't require a lot. Like I can't give away Lightspeed because now I got to film your content. I got to create your test questions. I got to brand your system. there's people to pay and work to do. I can't just give it to you.
Well, you do. You already do. Like you're showing people the way. That's why I'm here. Right.
What do you mean?
You're making your content. You're like putting yourself out there on social
media. I can give you content, but I can't give you Lightspeed services.
Right. But I think your social media presence and dropping bombs and all that is like showing people the content whether it's just sales training or whatever training they need to do is like, you're setting the example for what people should be doing for content. Right.
Yeah. But training and although we do educate and discuss and people learn while listening, this isn't courseware we're making right here.
It should be.
I know it'd be more entertaining. Even though a lot of people DM me, man, you changed my life. I'm like, what? What happened? Well, you were talking to so-and-so and you said this and it made me think and bang, dude, solved everything.
Well,
that's why I like keep doing the show. That's why I like real entrepreneurs who've been through shit to be on. Why? Because dude, someone's listening to this. You're going to get someone that wants data from you just because of your personality, let alone the data. Then you're going to find people that are, they want to follow you just because. You might get a DM from someone that we didn't even anticipate that. And it's because of this podcast.
Yep.
So I like doing the podcast for the main reason I started it. Get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. Because I think, again, that's the value to me is like, what if I could help one dude avoid the problems me and you both have faced?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, how did you have the nerve to keep going after that? You might be like, well, I took mushrooms. So now there's someone right now going, I'm going to take some mushrooms. Would you feel bad about that? Or would you suggest they do?
I would suggest they get a heart scan and take mushrooms, or at least a micro dose to understand what it's like. If they're, in a position of like needing to heal or pain or, a lot of people just take them recreationally now, but,
he also took CBD for the heart recovery.
Yeah. That was, I didn't want to take Oxy and Xanax and all that stuff. I wasn't sleeping well. It had side effects I didn't want. It was just, I didn't like it at all. And as soon as I got home, I had some gummies and it was just fell asleep for 10 hours and like didn't have pain. And so, and I'm not I'm not like a alternative medicine type person. I'm, pretty straight and narrow. I'll drink tequila. But these things help me. And so, if they can help somebody else, it's great. But, the podcast could save someone's the heart thing. Right. So
you want them to get checked.
Yeah.
The triple
bypass. No, triple rule out scan.
Triple rule out scan, folks. It's cheap. You should go get it, even if you're in shape. I was going to say if you're a fatty, but it doesn't matter if you're overweight, doesn't matter if you're lean, you could have it genetically.
Yeah. If you smoke, like, from what they said, even, weed and cigarettes, like.
Hey, do you think Skydeo collects and analyzes like literally trillions of pieces of data, no? Or just billions?
No, trillions, yeah.
Trillions of pieces of data.
Yeah. Has
like NSA or the CIA or the government ever approached you to like say, give me some of that?
Yeah. So there's government agencies that like buy the data. There's a company called Palantir. You've probably seen them. They kind of cornered that market. So for me, the procurement process, the selling of the government and jumping through all those hoops is like more than the resources that we have to spend time on. And like the risk factor of winning the deal hasn't been worth it to us. So we don't have a lot of government customers except for politicians. So, last year was a political year and we had, we call it political pinpoints data. So we helped campaigns on both sides, target their customer lists and their constituents.
How would your data be weaponized? Or could it be?
Well, if you think back to the, it really can't. I don't think it's already out there like multiple times. TikTok's got it. Google's got it. Facebook, Amazon, Apple's got it all. Right. And so, we have a fraction of what they have and it's, for targeted marketing, right. To show ads. Right. So,
well, maybe you're just scratching the surface in that industry. You don't even realize it yet.
Well, the other industries that like our data is like hedge funds and people like that. But again,
anybody that wants intelligence, because intelligence comes from data.
Correct.
The older I get and the more savvy I get in my business. Like I just hired a data analyst from Google.
Yep.
And I don't even know what the fuck data I have, but I know I have some.
Sure.
And I want to start analyzing the shit. So I'm getting older and smarter. You just beat me to it and already knew that data was the answer a long time ago.
It's the new oil, they say.
It's the new oil. Yeah. Well, it really is. But my thought is like the phone's listening to you. It knows that we're together right now. Yep. It hears if you say something. I don't care what anyone says about conspiracy. I've said shit on my phone on purpose to see if it did it, and it did it.
Right.
Like I'm not a big pickle freak, but I was talking about pickles as an exercise to see if there was ads on pickles. Dude, fucking pickle ads started coming. And because I kept saying pickles. It's listening, bro.
Oh yeah.
So like that's invasive. Do you think there's any like time in the future where your data is going to be owned by you through the blockchain, where now you sell your own data, so you can no longer sell my data because I own it?
I had that as a business plan and it sounds great, but people don't care. It's like, there's two factors to it.
If I could make money, I would care.
You wouldn't care.
I would care.
$100 a month, you're going to just like sign up for these things and do it?
Well, if there was 1,000 of them, yeah.
I don't think
not for $100.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. This is $100. Like that's what it's like.
Total.
So here's the issue. The people who sign up for these things, and there's a lot of coupon apps out there. You scan your receipts and you sell your data and like you get like some coupons back. Like, it's kind of like a country club. I don't want to be in a club that would have me as a member. Like, I don't want the person's data that wants to sell it. Right. You want like the guy in the Hamptons who's like got 4 houses and a, Porsche and a Defender. Right. He never wants to sell his data, but he opted into, all the services. But like what you bring up is a good point on compliance. And, there's a lot of state rules out there, and there should be a federal law soon that we're lobbying for to have a comprehensive data law on compliance across the United States that's, completely opt in. And you can right now, like you can understand what data we have on you. You can opt out. You can say, don't sell my data. Show me what data you have. So there's a whole bunch of granularity to this. And right now it's a mishmash of state laws. So, and that's where we spend a lot of our time, managing opt-outs from these different like lists of people who like don't want to be on Facebook targeted ads. Right. Or, just don't want to be found at all. Right. Or there's a security issue or something like that. So, yeah, it's kind of the cost of doing business and being a data broker.
Do you believe that there's, let's say, 3-letter agencies listening to us and monitoring data like yours for surveillance purposes?
Yeah, they use the location data of your phone. Like it's pretty. Like if you look at modern policing, they don't need to go like knock on doors to like get witnesses. They've got cameras at every corner, and they've got cell phone data, a subpoena away where they can say, where was your phone at this time, and like narrow down, 5,000, 2,000 people that were in, this block where the crime occurred, and then, go find those people. Right. So it's kind of like AI. It speeds things up. It's not. Do
you think
it's
with
not
AI,
the be all end all?
Do you think with AI, eventually we're going to have a Minority Report? Minority Report.
Oh yeah, sure.
Where they're predicting who's going to be the crook.
Yeah. Before it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it can analyze the data a lot faster. It's like, give us the likely suspects of this. Right. And guess what? It's always going to be like the husband or the boyfriend and, and all that. But
so the data that you have, you were just kind of saying, well, we don't want the guy that's selling his data because like we want the guy that would, is rich.
Yeah, we want you.
So with all the data that you see, what do you see when it comes to the hard left? I say hard left because, libtards, like really libtarded people.
Yep.
And by the way, like Democrat doesn't make you a libtard in my book. Being a dipshit makes you one of those in my book. Like there's, crazy blue-haired, piercing, just everything's unfair and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Democrat. Dude, listen, I mean, I fall Democratic in some things because I do believe in welfare. I just don't believe in the abuse of it. You know, so like, what do you see data from those type of people? Can I target them if I want?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Then why don't we buy all the data from those people and start educating them and getting them to change? Is that possible? Educate them.
Isn't that Fox News? Like, I don't know.
No, I think they're all part of it personally.
I think I don't really look at that. I would say I'm in the Green Party. You know what I mean? This green. So I'm apolitical, and we sell to both sides, obviously. But but
are you apolitical?
Yeah, I think so. Like I'm both Democrat and Republican. I would say I would say I was middle of the road until the libtards, as you called them, went way far left.
Well, that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like I take half moderate. The Democrats, we go party together. It's the total dumb ones. Like they're just, I use the word dumb meaning, because I don't know the word, but like just, I can't believe that they think the way they think.
Yeah. Well, there's certain issues like, changing children's sex. Like, I just think it's just
or to make it allowed at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And they should have the right. Again, listen, I understand people should have the right, but like 12 years old, you can't even get a tattoo.
Yeah.
You can't even drink a beer, but yep, you can just determine to change your sex forever, which is probably irreversible.
Well, even like, I think you posted on Leah Thomas the other day, right? The swimmer.
Yeah.
Right. My daughter was a swimmer. Like, if my daughter's in that pool, I don't know if I'm allowing it. Right.
Well, not only that, but like then they take the women's gold medal when technically that's not how it was designed. So again, I mean,
so all that. One of the coolest things I looked at, we have a data set called accounts graph. It's for account-based marketing, which is, targeting by company. And so I looked at the Twitter employee accounts graph before Musk bought it, and it was 98% Democrat. And I would say like super left-leaning versus like what it is today. And it's, more balanced today, I would say.
Yeah, so you can see some insight in that data.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Amazon recommendation engine, right? Like if you buy something, it shows you what else you should buy. So we have that for all the data sets. And so like if you buy hamburgers, you're probably going to get ketchup and buns, right? And so that's where I said if you've got a sports car like a Porsche or a Ferrari or whatever, you're like 25 times more likely to buy a G-Wagon or Defender or Range Rover as your SUV car, right? And so that's just high affinity. And so the data itself tells you more about the data.
You think you'd have Nate, me, Marty, Chantil in your database if you looked?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have everybody.
Yeah.
So where did you get it? How much did you pay for it?
We paid millions for it over time. And so, the way we source data, we got it from apps, right? When let's say it's a weather app or a tool app. Maps. Yeah. You log in, Life 360, right? Apps like that where, it's tracking your location. So I know where you shop and, kind of when you shop.
Who I hang with. Because right now, all these phones in this room are technically together. So they know we're all together.
Right. But what's,
for an hour and a half.
What's the commercial value of that?
Well, I don't know, but they're tracking it. They know that.
Yeah, but there's no value to it. Like
depends on who's asking.
Okay.
But not enough demand is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like remember we're still capitalists. Like I care who goes to Best Buy or you want to know about the casinos. The casinos want to know what casino you're in, right? So they want to track it and they do that with their apps as well. Right. And so if I've got the Caesars Play app on my phone, where am I going? Am I going to the Sphere?
Do you think people know that you're being that tracked? Like, is there a thing I can do on my phone where it shuts all that down and it doesn't? Yeah. What's it called?
Yeah, it's all opt in. Like, so Apple and Google both, like the platforms themselves, like you opt into like which apps you share data with, and you've seen the pop up like allow once or allow when I'm using the app or always. Right. So
what should people put there?
It depends. So I've got a app called TaxBird that tracks where I go every day. So I don't have to pay taxes in states that I don't live in. Right. I live in Florida. And so you got to have there's a reason for you to have my location data. If I'm buying, I don't know, if I don't want to do a search on StubHub, I could give them my location all the time, but I don't need to do that. So I just do it when I log in to StubHub, right? So it just depends on the app and the usage.
Is there any reason people should fear data collection?
I think it's I guess there could be use. Usually the press makes it worse than, and they use the same case examples over and over again. They use like a priest who was on Grindr, right? And they're trying to sensationalize it. Certainly, the New York Times articles have come out to sensationalize it, but they're typically fringe cases that the reporters dig in to find something, that could be used in a way not commercially viable or invasive of privacy, right? There was a company that got fined by the FTC for selling abortion clinic data. Well, they probably had never sold that data before, but it was in their taxonomy of they just indexed all the places in America, and abortion clinics were in the phone book, right? Like it's still in the phone book. So this is just the digital version of that, right? And so there's always bad actors, but I look at the commercial viability of why someone would want to do that. And if there isn't any, then it's probably not happening at a wide basis. But there's still always compliance rules that both the companies have to follow as well as the buyers. And so,
well, then why does the government claim that TikTok is a national security risk?
That's a great question. So TikTok, it's because the politicians realize what a tool it is now in swaying an election, right? And the people who got on it, their message, if they tapped into a message that was widespread, it works really well for running a campaign, and having a foreign government control that is off-putting to them. But the reality is Tencent and ByteDance and all these companies, they bought all the games 10 years ago. Okay.
They've had this data forever.
Yeah. They have Subway Surfer. They've got, the name is eluding me right now.
Candy Crush.
No, Candy Crush is Activision. They bought that. That's US owned, but they have,
but my point is
8-ball mini pool, right? Like the top 10 games are owned by Chinese people. So they already have the device data. They've already have it all, right? The other thing that China has is like 90% of the Fortune 1000 outsource their development to China. So they have all the logins to all of our databases, right? So a lot of it's just like they're running our tech anyways. Same with India, same with like any, developing country that had good tech. Like we've outsourced it because the labor was lower. So I don't, they're picking on TikTok. And I've always said that they're not shutting it down because, who wants to be the guy who shut down TikTok you're not going to get voted back in. You know what I mean? So
it gets me frustrated because like, who are they to determine what we want? Like I thought we, the people, decided shit at the end of the day. So if you shut down TikTok, we're just going to vote in someone else to give us back TikTok, but we don't communicate. That's a whole nother podcast. I was just curious to say, like, what's the national security issues they keep claiming? Is that just a thing they're claiming to take it away? So, or is there really a risk to having foreign countries have our data? Because I always, when people say, dude, that's Chinese, they can get your data. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything. They can follow me around. I'm not a bad guy. They can listen in. They can find out what I'm buying and what I'm surfing on. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Should I be bothered?
But let's say you're a soldier and you're on a base and you're like scrolling TikTok, right? And all your buddies are there. And then you move out to go to like Guam or something. And all those TikTokers are now in Guam, right? So now you got troop movements, right? That's a real concern.
But do they know who's troops and who's not troops?
Yeah, they know. Like they see you on an army base or an Air Force base all the time. They know where you are. So
don't you
there's like legit reasons, but they also have it because you play all these games and, you use all these other apps. And so
there is a national security risk.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So
like that's a real one, I think.
But they already have it.
They already have it. Yeah. By the way, besides encryption, like, I don't know, some defense contractor outsourced their development to Shanghai, and like they have a company there and it's their employees, but they're still, in China. Like, I don't know where you draw the line. It's pretty complex. It's a global economy. Like, so to try and bring it back is a challenge. Right, because the cat's out of the bag. So how do you get it? I don't know how to get it back in. Should have been talking about this the whole time. It's good questions. I don't usually have these discussions. Like
maybe when you come back through V-Town, we sit back down and have another one of these.
Okay.
How often do you get to Vegas?
Probably 2 or 3 times a year. I'll be here for CES, like any of the consumer marketing things. But
all right, I'm gonna invite you back. We'll have another sit down.
That'd be great
because I want to drill into this conversation.
Yeah, no, I mean these are. So the perspective we have of the U.S. consumers is, You could talk to Elon. There's only like 5 guys that you could talk to that like probably know more than me, right? On consumer advertising data. And so, and I'm not a data scientist, but like the perspective is like, you can see top down,
everything.
Not everything. Like, you know, we know where you shop, but we don't know what you bought. Like there's limitations in each of the data sets, and they're all disparate. It's not like one big, you know, thing where everything's connected. It's, you know, we've got where you shop, or, you know, what kind of car you drive, from like the Jiffy Lube example I gave you. Right. But those are all, things that like you could look at as a whole and come up with, you know, like the TikTok thing. Like I've sat with TikTok to try and get their data, you know, 7 years ago. Right. And so,
what'd they say?
I don't have it, but it'd be nice to have.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Which app do you think has the most elaborate data?
Well, that's tough to say. Like WhatsApp, 3 billion users. That's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of people.
And when you sign up for it, you're saying you can track me, you can see what I buy, you can follow me around.
Plus, you have all my contacts.
Now, if I said I don't agree with this anymore, would they be like, oh, well, then just delete WhatsApp?
Yeah.
And so you're screwed, basically.
You also suck in all your contacts data. So they have telemetry of like who you're contacting, right? And then you're in other people's contacts data. So it's a spider. So if you think of it, it's a people graph, right? Facebook call it the social graph. And so it's a spider web of who's connected to who. So that's interesting. What TikTok is successful for is the interest graph. And so they know, oh, I'll sit and watch a Brad Lee video, but like the blue haired lady, I swipe right away. So there's like, oh, don't show any more blue hair videos. And so they know exactly what I can't, like, I delete my search history and watch history because sometimes I like get sucked into a rabbit hole of some content that I looked at 2 a.m. and I don't want to see it all the time, of like some crazy lady getting arrested because someone's filming, right? Like I get those for some reason. So you know, those are all different avenues. Apple, right? You know, they're entering the ad game as well. So, by the way, every retail store that you know, because of Amazon, is now getting into the advertising business and trying to monetize their data with, it's called retail media networks. So Walmart's got one, Target's got one, banks are doing it. And so the idea is to show you ads, like when you log into the site and shop, and instead of them making 3%, they're going to make 20, 30, 40% margin on the ads versus just selling a product. So,
dude, it's getting deep over here. Yeah, I'm going to have you back. We're going to talk more about this. What can the Bomb Squad do for you? Get a heart check or a triple.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Triple rule out scan. Yeah. Save yourselves.
Go get a triple rule out. What if they all want your data? Where do they find you?
Skydeo.com. And
SKYDEO.
Yep.
Skydeo.com.
Our platform is sam.skydeo.com. Free to use. You can sign up. You can search data, add your platforms. If you're an ad agency, you can add your clients, and it just helps you, you know, understand what's available for your target audience.
And if you don't know what he's talking about, you probably aren't going to do anything with it anyway, right? Like you got to be somewhat savvy to know what to do with this data.
Everybody needs new customers, right? And so our perspective is, one, know who your next customer is, right? And we can help you with that. And then 2, make sure they know you.
But if I'm just a small business guy doing the marketing myself, should I go there?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we typically work with bigger companies, and, you know, there's like some minimums you got to hit. But, you know, if you want to grow your business and you have a target that you want to reach, if we can't help you, we'll put you in the right direction.
Well, everybody needs to do that. Everybody wants to do that. Folks, don't say I didn't bring you anybody valuable. My man Mike Ford just dropped bombs up in this bitch. I'll have him back. We're going to talk more deeply about data and how you can solve it. But until next time, keep it real. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, bro.